Good morning, this is Mike.
Mike Edwards, right here, right now. It's Rowan from Silver Tiger Media. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. I bet you've never heard that intro before, have you?
Well, not this morning, at least.
Oh, that's good then. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, really good. Very good. Looking forward to coming over pretty soon.
Absolutely, and congratulations on the tour. We're really excited that you'll be coming along to see us again. It's a privilege to speak with you, and thank you very much for your time.
Oh, that's a real pleasure. It's kind of you to talk to us old duffers.
Goodness me, from 1980s to now, I don't know about old duffers, but how has the ride been?
Been pretty damn good, I have to say. I mean, if you look back and see the things that we've done, it's been a fantastic life, I think, from just having indulged myself by writing music that I enjoyed, making some good friends whilst I did it, and having travelled the world without having to shoot people. It's been fantastic.
Oh, what magnificently fresh news. How did it all start for the band?
How did it all start? Right, okay. Well, it was a kind of snowball effect. It started... there was a kind of nucleus of the band from school days, actually. The drummer, Jen, and I were in a band together. People come, people go, but the key thing is that a few years down the line, we found Alan, our bass player. And then a little bit later on, we moved up to London. We were looking for a guitarist, did the old advert in the NME trick. Came up with Jerry. Then a couple of years later, we thought, okay, I'm getting into the sampling thing. We need someone to trigger the samples. It's not a particularly musically demanding job.
Yes.
And I'm going skateboarding all the time with this guy Ian. We get on pretty well. We obviously share interests. We talk a lot about music, and we like music. I'll get him in the band. As I recall, I didn't really give him much of an option. I kind of said that he was in the band and we were rehearsing next Thursday.
Oh,
and there you go, 25 years later.
Wow. Look, I really hope you don't mind me asking, but I have to ask for myself about the band name and the story behind it.
Yeah, do you know, there is some controversy within the band about that. It definitely all came about on a beach in Spain. 1988, there we are roasting ourselves in Spain. Jen, the drummer, Jerry, the guitarist, and I. And I was saying to them, look, I've got some good ideas about music. I know how to do this. I know we've been bashing away for a while. I haven't got anywhere. But just kind of give me control, and I'll make it all work. And, the way I recall it was that I said, and I've got a new name for the band. We're going to call ourselves Jesus Jones. However, Jerry's recollection is entirely different.
Okay.
He recalls that he came up with the name, and we've been disputing this hotly ever since.
Oh, fantastic. Look, Mike, could I throw into the ring that I thought of it first too?
Yeah, you were there on that beach in Spain. We just didn't see you. Okay,
I was just along
the... in the back of the queue.
Exactly. It was just a couple of towels south. Look, with your vast experience now, and it's such an enormously successful career, how would you categorise your music these days?
I know everybody gives you the same answer, but it's hard to categorise. And actually, to be honest, we're probably easier to categorise these days than we used to be. When we first started, we definitely kind of spanned lots of categories. And although a lot of people like to say that, they tend to span kind of categories within one, subcategories within one category. These days, I don't know. We like the same rock music that we always liked. I'm still listening to dubstep and drum and bass, so we have that mix of stuff that comes in from dance music and influences come from rock music. That's as it always has been. Okay, the differences, particularly with dance music, are changing these days. But these days, saying you're influenced by dance music and rock music is nothing unusual whatsoever. Okay. However, back in kind of the start of the 90s, there were some people who actually get quite upset about that kind of idea. So, I think times have changed, and these days we are easy to categorise. We like that mixture of whatever's happening in dance music and the rock music that we've always liked.
And look, would it be fair for me to allege, Mike, that you basically pioneered this genre?
I wouldn't go that far. What I would say is that we were aware of people doing exciting things that I want to be part of too. In particular, I talk about bands like the Shaman.
Yes.
The Shaman were very influential on us. Pop Elite itself were before us. I wouldn't say that they were direct influence, but I think to someone who didn't have much knowledge of modern music, they would say that we were working along the same lines. So I think people like Pop Elite itself and the Shaman were kind of there a little before us and kind of shining a bit of a light into the gloom. But I'd like to think that we took hold of that light and boosted the intensity up a little bit.
Absolutely. I think that's undoubted. Do you have one standout show over all these years that really springs to mind to you as being your paramount best? I'm not sure. Well, this show is definitely not our best, but we supported In Excess at Wembley Stadium in London in 1992. Sure. And there aren't many times that you get to play to 72,000 people. Once in our case. So, I mean, that's a standout show. I'll never forget that. And it's the kind of thing that impresses the kids when you say, oh, yeah, Wembley Stadium, I've played there, and they're amazed at that. Great shows. Let me have a think. I don't think I have the recall available for that. It's hard to top Wembley. Goodness me.
Well, yeah, but to be honest, it was our first time playing to that many people, and the nerves definitely got the better of me. It was not a great performance. It was a fantastic experience, but not a great performance. But you do get those shows where everything seems to come together. The audience are really with you. You feel you're playing well. The night goes well. I know that we played in Melbourne in about 91 sometimes, and there's a few diehard Jesus Jones fans that I know of came to that show, and for them, they think that was a magnificent show, and, I have good recollections of it too, so I guess something like that. But, yeah, I think some of the best shows we've done have been the ones in the last few years. We've got to the point where there's not as much pressure, things don't matter as much. It's much more about having fun, and I think when you have that kind of situation, it's very easy to do a good show, and we've not only done a good show because of that, but also because we've got a little bit better with 25 years of practice.
Indeed. And look, please don't tell anyone, just between you and I, but I was actually at that 91 Melbourne show.
Oh, wow.
I was indeed. Look, Right Here, Right Now was obviously a smash, hitting number one on the US alternative music charts in 1990, but then so did The Devil You Know 2 years later. What track do you find fans most associate with now?
Undoubtedly, Right Here, Right Now is our best known song, certainly in America, and I would say Australia, New Zealand as well. The irony is that here it was in the UK. It was never really all that successful. We'd had top 10 singles, and then Right Here, Right Now came along, and it got to number 30. It then did well in America, so the record company, I thought, okay, right, fine. It's done well in America. We'll re-release it. Let's see how it does this time. And it got to number 30 again. But what I find interesting about that is that now, Right Here, Right Now, because of the American influence, we've become very well known for that in the UK, which at the time was definitely not the case. I mean, songs like International Bright Young Thing or Info Freako are songs that we're much better known for here. Yeah. But now, well, at least previously, now it seems to be changing. It's funny how time changes things.
It's almost to the point of ironic.
Yeah.
So mid-March is your return here to Australia, and we're very excited that you're coming back. Me in particular, again, don't tell anyone. Do you have fond memories from our shores previously?
Yeah, I mean, for a start, we're one of those bands that loves touring, and personally, I love the travel aspect anyhow. So just the very fact that you're going to be in Australia means you're off to a fantastic start. But I get to go there with my best friends. I get to play music I like. I get to play it in front of people who really want to hear it. I mean, it's going to be fantastic, and it always was fantastic beforehand.
those I was very aware of those opportunities. You know that they don't come easy. You know, you're very fortunate to have that. So I absolutely love being there. The first tour we did was blighted by weather, which is just the most fantastic irony I think that there can be. Basically, we did something like a 5-day tour, and the rain chucked it down. Every single city we went to, and, you know, we went from Sydney to Perth to Cairns. We went all over the place.
Yeah.
So when I left there in '91, I was convinced that the whole sunny Australia thing was a total myth. However, we went back there in 2011, and the weather redeemed itself, but the playing experience, the touring experience, is every bit as brilliant as it's always been.
Fantastic, and hopefully we'll have the very same reception for you this time, if not more. Are you starting to notice that there is a multi-generational following at your live shows?
Do you know, I know that the way interviews go, I'm supposed to hugely endorse that and say, yeah, you know, people bring their kids all the time. I'm not sure that's really the case. I'm very aware of our standing in kind of music, modern music, where we are. Every so often, yeah, we get people bring their kids along, which is fantastic. But by and large, what we're for these days is people who come to reminisce about a certain period in their life. And I'm absolutely fine with that. I think that's great. To some extent, a little bit like for us, not having the pressure on. It's great when people can just relive that without having to think about whether it's a cool new band to see. They can just go on and go out and have a great time. So, you know, every so often we get people bring their younger offspring, but basically we're there for people who experienced it first time.
What a wonderful philosophy, and it may make the show incredibly relaxed for everybody, yourselves and the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's why the gigs are so much fun these days. Just because we're all pretty much at the same level, we're all there to have a brilliant time. There's no pressure. No one's trying to prove anything. Yeah. I think we'll also be spectacularly relaxed by virtue of our schedule this time. I think we've got time for playing and travelling, but things like sleep, just out of the question. So I think we're going to be relaxed to the point of comatose, given that we're out of the UK, New Zealand, Australia, and back within 8 days.
Goodness me, what a whirlwind tour. This is a difficult...
It's going to be worth it.
Indeed, it will be. And please hit us up if you need a guide around Melbourne. We'll be more than happy. It's a difficult question. And do you have a favourite track to perform from the Doubt album?
Yeah, well, absolutely, yes. I know it sounds cheesy, and hopefully I've given you the impression that I wouldn't just resort to cliche. But here, right now, when I wrote that song, I knew it was good. Even when I took it into the record company and said, yeah, that's pretty good, go away and write some more, I knew it was a good song, and it still feels great to play it. But to counter the cheese factor, what we found with playing Doubt, I mean, Doubt was put together as a 12-inch vinyl album. You know, it's that old. Yeah. So what we found is that there are some songs on there that work within the album format that just wouldn't work live. The songs, to be quite honest with you, weren't that good enough.
Okay.
So what we've done is rewrite a couple of the songs so that we feel kind of happy playing them. And what that has meant is that we kind of get to play new songs, which are also old songs at the same time. And that's really exciting, particularly since that people are coming to see the shows are really enjoying them, enjoying those new versions. So we've got the old stuff like Right Here, Right Now, which is always good to play, and we've got this kind of semi-old, semi-new stuff from Doubt, which is, you know, keeps us on our toes a little bit. There's not really any songs that I don't enjoy playing. I would say there are things like Who, Where, Why, which, you know, it's a good song. It's always fun to play live, but we could play that one in our sleep. I guess similarly for International Bright Young Thing. So there are some songs that will wake you up and kind of keep you alert, which is obviously going to be very important for us on this particular tour. And other songs where, you know, we're very familiar with them.
Wonderful. It must be such a tremendous vindication for you, too, to think back to those days of the Doubters and see the crowd reaction to your greatest hit.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about vindication. I'm not sure I'd feel kind of that aggressive in a way about it.
Sure.
What I would say is that there I was in a little, tiny little flat in a dingy bit of North London in 1989, writing Right Here, Right Now. If you'd said to me, and you're still going to be playing this song in places like Australia in 2015, I would have been over the moon. I would have just been absolutely ecstatic.
Wonderful. And all the original lineup are back together for this tour. That must be very exciting for everybody.
Yeah, it's brilliant. You know, I mean, Jen, the original drummer, left in '96. We got a new guy, Tony, in, who's a great guy, and we definitely, he left the band without any rancor at all, and he and Jen are good pals anyhow. But, you know, it is nice. You have to remember as well that Jen and I are the nucleus of the band in the first place. I mean, we formed our first band together in 1979. 78. So, it's kind of nice to be going back on the road with a guy I've known for that long.
Indeed. And, Mike, I have to apologise. There's so much I want to ask you about your career so far. Unfortunately, Tempus fugit. Look, it's been wonderful to speak to you, and thank you very, very much for your time.
Well, it's a real pleasure. Thanks for your time as well. It's nice that you wanted to speak to us at all. I'm very grateful.
Oh, absolutely, my pleasure, and absolute best of luck with the tour, and we'll be yelling out from the crowd, waving at you at some point, probably around Melbourne, I would say.
Ah, superb. I'll make sure I'm awake for that one.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thanks a lot.
Take care, my friend.
And you.
Bye.
Bye.